Southwest Airlines has canceled its plan to put unvaccinated employees who are waiting for religious or medical exemptions on unpaid leave. The move follows recent widespread flight cancellations. The airline blamed in part on staffing shortages. Airlines are considered federal contractors and are expected to follow the Biden administration's COVID-19 vaccine mandate for all federal employees. And joining us now to talk more about this is Christopher Bedford, senior editor of the Federalist. Chris, welcome back. Always good to see you. I know that you've been following this story. Why do you think Southwest did this about face, and do you think that other companies may follow suit?
Oh, it's actually this is great to see this action that's coming from the actual pilots and from the other staff on these airlines, saying that just because you're my employer doesn't mean that you get to push me against my religious convictions, against my doctor's advice. And that's what's going on right now. That's what's going on across the country for employees who don't have a union and are in a more dangerous position. This kind of shows, and I hate to sound like a Leninist, especially in a Catholic program, but this goes to show that the power that the workers do have over their employers, especially right now when you see wages rising, the difficulty in hiring unskilled labor, forget about skilled labor like Southwest Airlines requires. Employees do have a lot of power to make a difference here, and Southwest has shown that they're able to push it back. They came up with those ludicrous excuses like weather and FAA with there's no facts at all that could back it up to try and get out of trouble, but the trouble kept on coming. And fortunately, we've seen other airlines already say that they're going to back off these pushes as well because they don't want to end up in the same boat that Southwest just did.
Yeah, Chris, I'm going to follow up to that question. What do you think this means ultimately for this federal mandate?
Well, right now, the mandate's largely unenforceable simply because they don't have enough people to enforce it. There's not remotely enough inspectors that could go around demanding these kinds of things. Secondly, it hasn't really been tested fully by lawsuit. There's a misconception in the United States that because we've got vaccine mandates at your schools or this or that's something that's ever come from the federal government, but that hasn't. That's always come from state governments. This is new territory for the Biden administration to enter after repeatedly promising that they would not. I think this means that it's really shaky, and we're seeing it with police officers, we're seeing it with healthcare workers, we're seeing it with pilots. These are the people that are all very important to keep our economy running and our people safe and protected.
Yeah, I want to follow up to that because that was going to be my next question about the police officers. Some of them are facing termination over these vaccine mandates, and a lot of them are in places where there's high crime areas like Chicago. What do you think will happen in those cities if we have mass amounts of police leaving?
It seems pretty obvious, and it's exactly what's been going on in our cities since 2020 and now into 2021, which is massive rises in crimes. We've heard over the last 18 to 19 months longer from the federal government and from our state governments that if we simply submit, then we'll be allowed to be free and this whole pandemic will be over. And now we're being told that we need to fire our healthcare workers in the name of public health if they don't take this vaccine. And now we're being told that we need to fire our police officers in the name of public safety. These are the kind of things that cause Southwest pilots and others to rise up and say, no, you're not going to do what you tell me. When you're in Chicago or Seattle or other cities, you already have a massive problem with being a police officer. It's not a rewarding job right now. People don't have your back. The politicians don't have your back. It takes a lot to go out there every single day and night and put your life on the line dealing with terrible, terrible situations trying to help. If they keep on pushing, then we know exactly where that's going to end up.
Chris, another thing I want to talk to you about is the border situation. There's a new report by the New York Post claiming the Biden administration is actually moving plane loads of migrants under the cover of night from the border to other parts of the country. What do you make of this? What more do you know?
Well, I know of New York was surprised to hear that the suburbs, that they were getting these flights that were coming in. I just got a phone call now that one of the states, whose governors had explicitly said that they do not want to have any illegal immigrants there, that they're actually flying them in there. I have to confirm this report at the Federalist, and we're going to try and do that now. These are unvetted people who are being flown all over the country without governors' consents. This has been done before in the United States. It's always caused a lot of political turmoil. People think, for example, that Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter don't like each other simply over Bill Clinton's moral character. But their fight goes back a long way. When Jimmy Carter sent a boatload of refugees and unvetted people to Arkansas when Bill Clinton was governor, there was an ensuing massive riot where they were being held, and it almost sank Bill Clinton's political prospects for the future. That's the source of their grievances. So this goes across party lines to Republicans and Democrats, where if there are incidents and there is secrecy with the federal government hiding this from governors, well, there's going to be a lot of anger from those governors.
Well, Chris, so much more we can talk about. Unfortunately, we have to leave it right there. Thank you so much for your time. Christopher Bedford, senior editor at The Federalist. Thanks again.